In this week's video, come with me on board a London North Western Railway Class 730 electric multiple unit as we travel from London Euston to Nuneaton. We'll be looking at the sights outside the window, we'll be taking a look at the seat, and we'll have a generally very pleasant ride up the West Coast Mainline. So sit back and enjoy. Now, today's journey starts at the southern terminus of the West Coast Mainline at London Euston. Our departure will be the 15:46 to Crewe, but we'll only be on the train as far as Nuneaton. I do like this clock here on the departure board. It does look quite nice. Anyway, we'll just sit back now, watch the hustle and bustle, and wait for our train to be announced, which in this case is on platform 11. And I slowly make my way down the ramp to the waiting train on the platform. As you can see, there is quite a crowd for this train as well. Down on platform 11, and with just a few minutes left before scheduled departure, the doors weren't even unlocked on the train and people were queuing up. I saw most people were congregating at the rear of this 10-coach train. Obviously, it's two Class 730s. I decided to make my way down towards the very front. And for you number crunchers, 730-234 and 730-213 would be our steed up to Nuneaton up the West Coast Main Line. With just a few minutes left before departure, the doors were unlocked, and myself and my fellow passengers boarded through the first set of doors of the front unit. Now, despite the amount of people that we saw waiting for this train to board the train, this carriage was actually pretty quiet throughout the journey. I sit in my seat and I take a look around.
See it, say it, thought it.
There was a tiny little bit of legroom on the train, but it was no big issue for me really. There was still a bit of space between my knees and the seat in front. The seat maquette looks pretty nice. I do like the grey and green. They do blend well together, I think. The armrests come down, no issues at all. The little pull-down table was a bit tough. In fact. It even offered me out for a fight outside on the platform. But anyway, got this 3-pin plug socket with USB-A connections too, to charge your devices up. Departure from London Euston was a few minutes late at 15:54. No big issue though. We passed a few Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino trains parked up, ready for their next runs up north up the West Coast Main Line.
We will be calling at Milton Keynes Central, Rugby, Nuneaton, Atherstone, Tamworth, Lichfield Trent Valley, Rugeley Trent Valley, Stafford and Crewe.
We also passed one of Avanti West Coast Class 805 Avero trains. In this case, it's 805001, which I'm assuming was stabled up to await its next turn of duty out of London Euston. But before long though, we are flying up the West Coast Main Line, flying past Wembley Yards. Give you a bit of an opportunity here now to do a little bit of train spotting. We sailed through Watford Junction. just past Hemel Hempstead. We now pass by 66244, working 6 Oscar 71, the Daventry to Dollonsmore cargo wagons. Our first stop since leaving London Euston is Milton Keynes Central. Having departed Milton Keynes, we now pass by 66005, working 6 Victor 06, the Burton-on-Trent to Acton Yard empty box wagons. We're soon at our next calling point of Rugby, and we're greeted with 90004 and 90048 in the South Bay at Rugby Station, awaiting their turn to go down to Daventry International Rail Freight Terminal to take a loaded train back north later on in the evening. And like we had at Euston, we seem to be having a good crowd joining the train here at Rugby too. We were 13 minutes late departing Rugby at this point, and you can see DB Cargo 66133 stabled up in one of the loops, working for Lima 56, Trafford Park to London Gateway intermodal.
Lichfield Trent Valley, Rugeley Trent Valley, Stafford and Crewe. The next stop will be Nuneaton.
Now on the Trent Valley Main Line proper, having departed Rugby, we pass by GBRF Celebrity Loco 66721, working for Lima 62, Ditton to Felixstowe intermodal service. With just a couple of miles left until we reach Nuneaton station, we're going to be shortly passing over the Marston Lane Bridge. Now, for those in the railway fraternity, you may remember this bridge was struck on the 11th of June at about 3:30 in the afternoon, causing quite substantial damage. I'll leave a photo now that I lifted off of their Facebook group, and we'll also be passing over the bridge shortly, and I'll show the damage to it. Looking at this damage though, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. The lorry driver was arrested after the incident had happened, and I'll put some screenshots of the news reports up now. Anyway, with Nuneaton fast approaching, I go to one of the doors to get ready to get off. It's quite surreal now looking right down a 5-coach train without having any vestibules in the way. And with that, we arrive into Nuneaton, running approximately 17 minutes late. I get off the train and I go up to the end of the platform to give my thoughts on today's journey. Yes guys, and welcome back to Nuneaton Station. Just a very quick trip out down to London that was. Yeah, I think about 50 minutes I was in London for. You know, but it was like I had to get back home anyway. I mean, I could have come back, had a few hours down there, but got chores that I needed to do, need to be done. Class 730s, first time I've been on a Class 730. I mean, they've been on the Trent Valley services now, I think for about a year or so, or thereabouts. You know, you do get the occasional 350 pairing coming up. Most of the time that's Class 730s. Yeah, pretty decent trains to be fair, quite quick. And it's funny standing down one end of the train looking straight down, you can see the other end, you know, 5 cars later. Obviously that was a 10-car train, so you're not going to see right down to the very front, but I bet it was quite a busy train too. I'm sure some of you have seen there at Euston when I was walking up towards the front of the train. That ticket again, like I did with Lumo, I booked on the same day, cost me £27. Oh, here we go. Yeah, ticket cost me £27, and again I booked at the same time I booked the Lumo journey. Again, I don't think that's pretty bad value really. £27 one way on the day booking, you know, when I've had to, well, I think about 80 something without looking. So yeah, hope you enjoy that little vlog, and I'll see you on the next one. Do a little bit of train spotting now before I head off home. Take care and see you soon. $66,613 on a Class 4 Freightliner. I've never seen that before. I know it does happen, but I personally haven't seen anything like that.